In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the improper axis of rotation. In the case of axis of rotation, there are two types of axis of rotation. One is proper axis of rotation and improper axis of rotation. Proper axis of rotation is represented by the symbol Cn. The operation about the proper axis of rotation is just rotation. The improper axis of rotation is represented by the symbol Sn, and the operation about the improper axis of rotation is rotation followed by reflection about a plane perpendicular to the rotation axis produces an equivalent appearance. So Cn corresponds to rotation only, whereas Sn corresponds to rotation followed by reflection about a perpendicular plane. Proper axis corresponds to rotation only, whereas improper axis corresponds to rotation followed by reflection about the perpendicular plane. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the number of operations generated by the symmetry element Sn. We are going to take two examples for this. One in which the value of n is odd and the other in which the value of n is even. In the case of BCl3, boron trichloride, the shape of BCl3 is trigonal planar, and for this we have an S3 axis. That is, instead of Sn we have S3, so n is 3 is an example when n is odd. We are going to perform the various operations of S3 and find out how many operations are generated by S3. After that, we will be taking the example of XeF4, for which we have S4 as the improper axis, and perform the operations generated by the S4 and find out how many operations are generated by S4. That is, instead of Sn we have S4, that is n is even. So BCl3 is an example for n is odd, and XeF4 is an example for the case when n is even. First we will take the case of BCl3. BCl3 is trigonal planar in shape, and the C3 axis is passing through boron atom perpendicular to the molecular plane. There is a plane which is perpendicular to the C3 axis. There is a plane in the molecular plane, the plane which is cutting through all the atoms, that is boron and 3 chlorine atoms, dividing each atom into two halves. One half of each atom is above this plane and one half each atom is below this plane, and this is perpendicular to the C3 axis, and since it is perpendicular to the principal axis, this is known as a sigma h plane. Now when we conduct C3, let us see what happens. Here we find 3 chlorine atoms represented by 3 different colors. It is just for the purpose of distinguishing and nothing else. This is a blue chlorine atom, this is a yellow chlorine atom, and this is a red chlorine atom. Next we have a vertical arrow over this chlorine atom, and this vertical arrow is once again imaginary. It is just another distinguishing mark, just like the different colors. Just like this chlorine is blue, this chlorine is yellow, and this chlorine is brown. Here also we find an arrow which is pointing upwards, which is just an indicator arrow, just a distinguishing arrow which we have placed. It is an imaginary arrow, it is not a real arrow. When the operation C3 is performed, the rotation about 120 degrees, the rotation about 120 degrees leads to shifting of this blue chlorine atom to this place where there is an yellow chlorine atom initially, and shifting of an yellow chlorine atom to this place where we have a brown chlorine atom initially, and shifting of this brown chlorine atom to the place where we have a blue chlorine atom initially. And what we get is something like this. Now for C3 followed by sigma h. Sigma h is a perpendicular plane, the molecular plane cutting through all the atoms. It is perpendicular to C3 axis, and when you reflect this upward arrow will become downward arrow. The position of the atoms will not change, and you will get something like this. There will be only one change. The upward arrow will become downward arrow, and this operation is what is known as S3. S3 is, if you look at S3, it is C3 followed by sigma h. First the operation on the right hand side is done, followed by the operation on the left hand side. So we should read it like this: S3 is equal to C3 sigma h. Now we have considered one operation now. The name of the operation is S3. When we go to the next operation, we have to be starting from the last arrangement which we have on the screen. That is the arrangement which we get after the sigma h. From this arrangement onwards we have to start. This is the arrangement which we had at the end of the last screen. From this, now you have to perform the C3 operation again, and when you perform the C3 operation again, you will get something like this. This brown will get shifted here, this blue will get shifted here, and this yellow will get shifted here, and if you perform this operation, you will get something like this. Arrow will still be pointing downwards. And now if we reflect this in the perpendicular sigma h plane, there will be only one change. The arrow which is pointing downwards initially will now go upwards. The arrow which is initially pointing out downwards now will go upwards. And now we have conducted the S3 operation twice. So sigma h square C3 square. You have to read it like this: C3 square followed by sigma h square. Sigma h square is E. Doing reflection twice will lead to identity, and so this will become E into C3 square. E is the operation of doing nothing, and so we will get C3 square only. This is what you get as S3 square. Now we will start from what we had at the end of this, what we had at this end of this diagram as a first arrangement in the next screen. Now if you perform C3, what you will get is this yellow will get shifted here, this red will get shifted here, this blue will get shifted here, and will get something like this, but the arrow will be pointing upwards. Now if you reflect the sigma h plane perpendicular to C3, now all the atoms will remain in the same position except that the arrow will be shifted downwards, and this is what we will get. Performed S3 three times, and so it will be S3 cube, which is equal to sigma h cube C3 cube. You will get something like this. Sigma h cube is sigma h square into sigma h, then into C3 cube. Sigma h square is nothing but E, and so this will be E into sigma h. E is doing nothing, so this will be sigma h. C3 cube is making 3 C3 rotations, 120 degree into 3, and it is 360 degree, and it is complete rotation, and so this is equivalent to E. This is E, this is E, and so the net result is sigma h. Now we will go to the next screen. There is the end of the, this is the end of the last screen. This is the end of the last screen, and when you do C3, what you will get is this blue will get shifted here, this yellow will get shifted here, and this brown will get shifted here. and we'll get something like this. Arrow will still pointing downwards. When you reflect about the sigma h plane perpendicular to C3, all the atoms will remain in the same position, but the arrow will be shifted up, and we'll get this. And now we'll perform S3 4 times. Performing S3 4 times will be sigma h 4 times. This is sigma h square into sigma h square, and this is C3 power 4 is can be written as C3 cube into C3. Sigma h square is E, and this sigma h square is once again E, and C3 cube is once again E, and so E into C3 is finally C3. Now going to the next screen, if you perform C3 now, what you will get is this brown will be getting shifted here, this blue will be shifted to the place of yellow, yellow will be shifted to the place of brown, and you will get something like this. Now if you look at the arrow, still shifted upwards. If you reflect the molecule in the plane sigma h perpendicular to C3, all the atoms will remain in the same position because all the atoms are in the same plane. They are contained in the plane. They will not change positions, and the upward arrow will become downward arrow. Now we have performed S3 5 times. S3 5 times will be something like this. This is S3 power 5. This is sigma h square into sigma h square into sigma h. C3 cube into C3 square. Sigma h square is E. Sigma h square is once again E, and this is simply sigma h. C3 cube is E, and this is C3 square. And so E is the action of doing nothing, and we get sigma h C3 square as the operation. So what we see is S3 per 5. We have done the operation 5 times. Now we'll move on to the next operation. We'll start from what we have in this diagram at the end. That is, this structure will be the first structure in the screen. Now if you perform C3, something like this, the yellow will go to this place of the brown, brown will go to the place of blue, and blue will go to the place of yellow, and you will get something like this. Arrow still pointing downwards. When you do the reflection about sigma h perpendicular to C3 axis, downward arrow will become upwards. All the atoms that are remaining in the plane itself will not get shifted, and this is what you will get. And this is S3 power 6, which is sigma h power 6. This is sigma h square into sigma h square into sigma h square into C3 cube into C3 cube. Sigma h square is E, sigma h square is E, sigma h square is E, and C3 cube is E, C3 cube is E, and overall symmetry is E. And this brings an end to the operations we perform on S3. Now we will summarize what we have seen so far. Here what we will see is that this will be same as, this structure will be same as the structure we had at the beginning, that is the very first structure. That is, if you look at this structure, we find the blue here, you find the yellow here, you find the red here, we will find the brown here, and there is an upward arrow over the brown. You just have a look at this arrangement, and now we will come back to the last slide which we saw, and if you look at this structure, you find the blue here, yellow here, and brown here, and there is an upward pointing arrow here. This is same as the first structure, and so we have come back to the original structure, after 6 operations. To summarize the operations, we will find the first operation as S3, which is sigma h C3. S3 square is same as C3 square, sigma h C3 square, and then S3 cube is sigma h. S3 power 4 is C3. S3 power 5 is sigma h C3 square, and S3 power 6 is E. So instead of writing this as S3, S3 square, S3 cube, S3 power 4, S3 power 5 and S3 power 6, we can very well write something like this. I will just write down this somewhere here. Sigma h C3 followed by C3 square followed by sigma h followed by C3 followed by sigma h C3 square followed by E. These are the 6 operations that are generated by S3. So to summarize, we have, if there is Sn, it will generate 2n operations for odd value of n. Here we have S3 and it is odd, and 2n is 2 into 3, and so it generates 6 operations. That is what we have taken. Now next we are going to take the case when n is even, with the example of XeF4, which is a square planar structure. In the case of XeF4, the principal axis is C4, which is perpendicular to the molecular plane passing through xenon atom. This is C4, and there is a molecular plane which is perpendicular to the principal axis. Since it is perpendicular to the principal axis C4, this is sigma h, and the plane contains all the atoms, xenon and 4 fluorine atoms, and since the atoms are contained in the plane, they will not be getting shifted during the reflection about sigma h. Now we will look at the C4 operation and see what has happened. C4 rotation about 90 degrees. Yellow will be shifted to the place of red, red will be shifted to the place of green, and green will be shifted to the place of black, and black will be shifted to the place of yellow. And that is what we have seen here. And there is an arrow placed over the red fluorine atom which is remaining upwards, and when you reflect it about the sigma h plane, which is perpendicular to C4 axis, all the atoms which are present in the plane will remain unshifted, and the upward arrow will become downward arrow. That's what we get, and this is S4 and this is sigma h C4. The last structure in this screen will be the first structure in the next screen. Now if you perform C4 axis here, the black will come here, yellow will go to the place of red, red will go to the place of green, and green will come to the place of black, and you'll get something like this. The arrow will still be pointing downwards. When you do the reflection about a plane perpendicular to C4 axis, you'll get something like this. All the atoms present in the plane will remain unshifted. This downward arrow will become an upward arrow. We have performed two operations using S4, and so it will be S4 square. S4 square is sigma I square. Sigma square is E, and after that you find C4 square. C4 square is doing C4 two times, rotating through 90 degree two times. Rotating through 90 degree two times is equivalent to 90 plus 90, which is 180 degree rotation once, and this is nothing but C2. E into C2 is C2. This is what you get. Next, when you do the C4 rotation, here the green will come to the place of black, black will come to the place of yellow, yellow will come to the place of red, red will come to the place of green, and you will get something like this. Arrow will be still pointing upwards. And you do the reflection about the plane sigma h perpendicular to C4. All the atoms which are present in the plane will remain unshifted. The upward arrow will become downward arrow. And we have performed S4 three times, and so S4 cube. This is S4 cube, and you will get something like this. This is sigma h square into sigma h. This is C4 cube. Sigma h square is sigma square. E sigma h C4 cube. E is doing nothing, and so you get sigma h C4 cube alone here. Now we already performed three operations on the S4, and now we will be going to the fourth operation over S4. When you do the C4 rotation about this structure, you will get something like this. This red will come to the place of green, green will come to the place of black, black will come to the place of yellow, and yellow will come to the place of red. And after they shift, you get something like this. Arrow is pointing downwards. Now if you reflect it about the plane sigma h, which is perpendicular to C4, all the atoms will remain in the plane and they will remain unshifted. The downward arrow will become an upward arrow, and you have performed S4 four times. S4 power 4 is equal to sigma h power 4, which is sigma h square into sigma h square into C4 power 4, C4 power 4. Sigma h square is E, sigma h square is once again E. C4 power 4 is rotating through 90 degree 4 times. 4 into 90 degrees, 360 degree complete rotation. And so the original arrangement is restored, and so E into E into E is E. Since we have got identity, this comes to the end of the operations. If you look at this structure after S4 power 4, that is 4 operations under S4, and if you compare this with the structure at the beginning, that is this structure, both are identical. That means the initial arrangement is restored after 4 S3 operations, and the operation generated by the S4 can be written like this. Here first operation is sigma h C4, second operation is C2, third operation is sigma h C4 cube, the fourth operation is E, and there are 4 operations which are generated by S4. So when n is even, there will be n operations generated. For even value of n, for even value of n, Sn generates n operations. For odd value of n, 2n operations we saw. So in n is equal to 4 it is even, and so S4 generates 4 operations. For odd value of n, Sn generates 2n operations. We saw with the example of BCL3. For even values of n, Sn generates n operations. We saw with the example of XCF4. In the case of BCL3, S3 generated 2 into 3, which is 6 operations. In the case of XCF4, S4 generated 4 operations. Thank you.